PFF is running one of their biggest sales ever. 40% off a PFF Plus subscription right now using the promo code BLACKFRIDAY. That means that you get everything fully unlocked. You get the grades, you get the stats, you get all the fantasy advice, the betting advice, which our new player prop tool is available on web as well to make you a smarter, better. You've got all of the draft analysis, the free agency analysis, all of that great stuff. Subscribe.pff.com to get 40% off a year-long PFF Plus subscription. Get it now. The Cleveland Browns versus the Las Vegas Raiders. This one in Vegas. Shedeur Sanders got the start in this one, and he got the win. What was it? Was he the first Browns quarterback to win their opener as the starting quarterback since what, like 99?
30-something years. Yeah,
been a while. 24-10, final score in this one. Top 5 graded players that we had for the Cleveland Browns. Edge rusher Myles Garrett, continuing his Defensive Player of the Year and historic season, 93.7 overall grade. Edge rusher Isaiah McGuire with an 84.9. Cornerback Denzel Ward a 79.2. Linebacker Devin Bush a 79.0. And then tight end Harold Fannin Jr. a 77.8. Quarterback Shedeur Sanders in this game had a 50.3 overall grade and the win. On the Vegas Raiders side of things, edge rusher Charles Snowden with a 91.4. Edge rusher Max Crosby, an 82.1. Cornerback Eric Stokes, a 73.9. Running back Ashton Genty with a 71.1. And then safety Jeremy Chan, a 71.0. Geno Smith in this game, a 56.7. After the game, Chip Kelly, who was the offense coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders, dismissed, fired, no longer there. Kind of feels like he is. We'll see. We'll certainly see now that Chip Kelly is no longer there, but certainly felt like a scapegoat for a lot of the issues that the Raiders are having. It wasn't just, in my opinion, the play callers. It was a lot of the execution and everything, but maybe it'll look a lot better with him not being the one to call plays. We will see, but Kelly no longer there. We'll see where his next stop is, whether it's in the NFL or maybe going back to college football. But stats have told the story here, Dalton.
That's pretty much it, as apparently the Browns' pass rush was so good they got Chip Kelly fired. 85.7 pass rush grade as a team, 10 sacks. Geno Smith sacked 10 times. Eight players for the Browns with at least half a sack in this game. About a 75% pass rush win rate. That'll do.
That's crazy.
It felt like it obviously, and that's why I picked the Browns to win, is it felt like maybe the biggest mismatch in all of football this weekend was the Browns' defensive line against the Raiders' offensive line, which has just been cratering this offense. And the Raiders now, you look at them as a team for the season, 30th in offensive grade, 30th EPA per play, 30th in yards per play.
It's bad.
Tied with the Saints now for the fewest points scored in the NFL. And this is an offense we had pretty solid expectations of with Geno, with Ginty, with Brock Bowers, with the receiving core, everything like that. And they can't block a soul. That's really, to me, I know that all the spotlight was on Shedeur, and he made some nice plays, and the Browns offense got enough done, and they scored more than 17 for just the second time in forever. But at the end of the day, when you watch the Raiders side of this game, it's just Geno Smith getting killed back there. Under pressure 46% of the time.
Yeah.
They cannot block it. Ever since Colton Miller got hurt, they can't block anybody.
It's true, but it also has to look better than what it has looked like. And I said that Chip Kelly's a little bit of a scapegoat, I think, because there's just a lot going wrong.
He's the highest paid coordinator in the NFL. He got fired 11 games in.
Tough.
Well,
the stats like this are the reason why.
Yeah.
They scored 10 points in this game, right? They had the ball for 36 minutes and 30 seconds. That's a huge time of possession advantage. They ran 75 offensive plays. They had a 3.6 yards per play average. That's why he gets fired. You can't have the ball for 75 plays and score 10 points. Now, I think Daniel Carlson, right? It's Daniel Carlson.
Yeah.
Kicker. He missed a field goal. So, okay, you want to tack on the 3, you get 13 points. That's why you end up getting fired. You can't have the time of possession. You can't have 75 plays. You can't get 3.6 yards per play average.
At this point, and it's not just this game is the embodiment of it, but through Week 12, the only offenses statistically worse than the Raiders are the Titans and the Browns. That's the category. And they did not – defensively, we expected them to be bad. We did not expect them offensively to be this bad by any means.
No. And especially because, I like their draft class to supplement what they had. Sure, did they not have a wide receiver 1? Okay, but Brock Bowers is kind of your pseudo wide receiver 1, even though he's a tight end. He's basically that. So I know that Brock Bowers missed a little bit of time, but dude, going into the year, the offensive line hasn't played as good as they did last year, and they're down Colton Miller. So, like, that absolutely goes into it. But you're adding Ashton Genty. You had Jacoby Myers, you had Trey Tucker, you have Brock Bowers, you have Michael Mayer, and then you added Jack Besh and Dante Thornton. Like, that's pretty decent. Is it the best? Is it the best personnel to be able to throw to? No, but like, you just put them in a category with the Jets and the Browns. That's why Chip Kelly's fired. There's no way those names that I just named to you should have been anywhere close to the bottom 3 in the NFL. That's how you get the issue. My most disappointing, honestly, has been Geno Smith. And Smith now up to 17 turnover-worthy plays this season. He's tied for 3rd in that regard, and yet he only has 10 turnover-worthy play. Or he has 10 big-time throws. Funny enough, that's actually the exact same as Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has 10 big-time throws and 17 turnover-worthy plays. So that's Geno Smith's stat line there. But I thought Geno would be a lot better. I really did. And I don't know if you saw this, Chip Kelly afterwards, he sort of like wrote like hey, like thank you to the Raiders organization. Really love my time here. And at the end, he's like, I loved working with Geno. Like, Geno is great. Loved getting to work with Geno Smith. And Chip Kelly's been around for a long time. He doesn't have to say that. He just got fired. He just got fired 12 weeks into the season or whatever. He didn't have to compliment anybody. And he went out of his way, at least from what I saw, to just say, like, hey, I love working with Geno Smith. This is great. It was a lot of fun. I think he's a great quarterback. And I think that's the most disappointing thing is, like, whatever you thought the worst-case scenario was for the Raiders' offense this year, you're watching it. And that's just been a really disappointing part of this season.
And their offseason gets interesting because I think they're picking 5th right now in the draft, and the draft order is going to be big for them. But we're going to know this, I think, pretty early. So if they cut Geno Smith before the 3rd day of the new league year, $18.5 million that they have to eat.
Right,
for next year.
It's a decent amount of dead cap that they have to.
They can't wait until then because then another $8 million gets tacked on. The salary is fully guaranteed.
Right.
So we're going to know by the 3rd day of the league year whether Geno's there or not.
Right.
And then we're going to know basically at that point if they're drafting a quarterback instead of anything else. Because I would highly doubt they're going to roll into next year with Aiden O'Connell as their starter.
No, I don't think so
We've already done this once.
No, I don't think so either. And I think the only real conversations are like trading for Tua or trading for Kyler. But then
and it depends too, because you look at the top 5 right now is Titans, Giants. They're not taking quarterbacks, and then Saints, Jets, Raiders, who any or all of those 3 could be taken, and then the Browns with an extra win, are sitting at 6.
Oh yeah, right.
So you're looking at the 3 in the category. Saints,
very clutch loss. Clutch loss for the Raiders.
For the Raiders, yeah, this was a big one to get. But Saints, Jets, Raiders, what order are those 3 teams going to be in? Because there's a chance that all of them, I think the Jets are certainly going to take a look, and the Raiders at this point might as well.
I think there is there's a good chance that whatever the draft order is determines the fate of Geno Smith. Because if you feel confident enough about getting a quarterback, I think you move on from him. And when we did Fix Your Franchise for the Raiders last week for NFL Stock Exchange, we kept Geno just because we could cut him, but then again, it's like what are you doing after that? Because are you going to put $18.5 million of dead cap on your books and then trade for Kyler and his contract? No, probably not. Are you going to do that and trade for Tua? No, probably not.
To me, the Kyler situation and the way that seems to be going, I would almost just wait for him to get cut. I don't think there's any chance Kyler is Arizona's quarterback next year.
But if Arizona cuts him, like that's hard on their books.
For a year, yeah.
That's really difficult on their books if you cut him for a year.
I mean, I think that's the leverage that other teams are playing with. Why give something up?
I don't know. It depends what kind of conversations we're having here, because like Adam Schefter tweeted about this whenever it was, like a couple weeks ago when Kyler was dealing with his injury. He said that it feels like these two are heading towards a split, but it's hard for Arizona to eat the money by just cutting him. They really kind of have to trade him. And now they can trade him and like take some of they can take some of the money, so it's a little bit less than what it would be if they cut him, but they're able to still get a decent draft pick back. So all of that kind of goes into the equation. But again, if you're the Raiders, because you got to remember this too. Spy tech's coming from the Buccaneers tree of like, you build through the draft. That is what you do. And I think there's a massive disconnect right now with the players that John Spytek drafted and the players that Pete Carroll wants to play, because so many of these guys are not seeing the field. And outside of Ashton Jeanty, I think outside of Jeanty, Dante Thornton has played like 47% of the snaps. But outside of those two, they're the only ones who have played more than 35% of the snaps. Dalton, this team stinks. They're the only rookies that have played more than 35% of the snaps. Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant, the two offensive linemen that they drafted, guess how many combined snaps that they had played leading up into this week?
I have Charles Grant at 1.
Yeah.
I don't even see Rogers.
Yeah, there's a reason why you don't see it.
Yeah.
Because it's 0. 1 between the two of them.
Yeah. Besh playing 16 snaps a game when he's in.
Sort of. And that guy should have been playing for you. You just traded Jacoby Myers. Brock Bowers hurt earlier in the year. You should have been playing this dude. Now, maybe they're not ready. I don't know. I'm not in the building. I'm not coaching these guys. I'm not sure. But there's a massive disconnect with the players that Pete wants to play versus the players that Spytek actually drafted. And that's why I wonder if Spytek's even going to want to go the Kyler Murray route at all. So, going back to
the quarterback question, I think there's going to be a lot left to go when it comes to where are they picking. If they are the first quarterback needy team picking, say they're number 3 overall.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Then you probably lean it more towards.
I'm a little tongue-in-cheek, but like this is a clutch loss. This is a clutch loss.
If they mess around and win another game or two and they're picking 8th, they may have to keep Geno just to.
That's where we were when we did the exercise.
I mean, it's a problem though, and their other problem is with all the O-line injuries. They're another offensive line injury team. Again, they just can't block a soul.
Yeah.
They don't have Colton Miller. They don't have Jackson Powers Johnson.
TJ Glaze has been worse this year.
They just don't have. I think, didn't Jordan Meredith get hurt in this game?
He did, I don't know what his injury was.
I mean, that's really, they're just one of the teams where I go, they can't block anybody. And until they can do, that's going to be your argument of, well, should they just draft more offensive linemen and figure it out that probably? Yeah. I mean, the Raiders are at a tough spot, and I think a lot tougher one than anyone thought.
And there is, like, if you believe in Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant at all, 2 of the offensive linemen that they drafted last year, if whoever's the new coach staff, if they get a new coach staff, like actually believes in those guys, well, then you have 2 players that you're okay with. You have Jackson Powers Johnson. If you draft one, they have enough money. They could sign like an offensive, like they could be an Elijah Vera Tucker team. You know,
that's good.
Maybe you go get a Wyatt Teller, right? Something like that. So like, they have the ability to make a couple of changes, actually have some young guys that you like, and then maybe they're drafting one of these offensive tackles at the top of the second round or something. All of a sudden, this offensive line looks, and you plug in a healthy Colton Miller, the offensive line can bounce back pretty quickly. But you gotta
and they got to figure out who they want, because now they need an offensive coordinator.
That's true.
And, yeah. Side note here from the other side of this game, Kevin Stefanski did announce that Shedeur Sanders is going to start at home next week against San Francisco.
And he should, right? I mean, like, he absolutely should. Shedeur wasn't good last week. It was better this week than he was the previous week.
Yeah, but one big mistake, but yeah.
But, like, Shedeur gives you a better chance to win than Dylan Gabriel, concussion or not. So, and again, you kind of know what Dylan Gabriel is. He's not going to be any different this year going into the offseason. So what you have to evaluate with Dylan Gabriel is kind of already there. You might as well, and we've been saying this the whole time, you might as well get a good look at both of these guys. It would kind of be reckless to not do that. So I like the move to start Shedeur.
I'm in on it. Just find out, and if not, maybe they're one of those quarterback teams in the draft.
Exactly.
Who knows?
Exactly.